What's up, Internet? Welcome back to Energy Corridor. My name is Shuaib Yusuf, and today I want to talk about pipelines equal power. When people think about power, they think of wars, armies, sanctions, trade wars, and stuff like that. But there's a battlefield that takes place underground. That's pipelines. Pipelines that go underground and pipelines that go undersea that provide energy. In today's world, modern countries that are industrialized rely heavily on energy to be competitive. The cheapest and most consistent way of receiving that energy is through pipelines. It's more reliable, cheaper, and safer than getting it by truck, ships, or trains. Take Nord Stream for example. Russia used to provide cheap, reliable, and consistent pipeline to Europe through Germany. The Nord Stream pipeline would deliver gas from the Russian shores through the Baltic Sea to Germany. Germany, being an industrious nation, they benefited a lot from that consistent, cheap pipeline. It allowed them to grow their economy. It allowed them to compete on a global level. However, that pipeline got sabotaged. It got blown up. Instantly, the German economy got affected. They quickly had to get energy from Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the United States through LNG shipments, which cost more. It affected their factories, it affected their heating bills, it affected the country in many ways. So they're not as competitive as they were before. Their economy wasn't growing as it was before when they had the pipelines. So that shows you that when you're an energy provider, pipeline gives you the leverage over countries that receive the pipelines, because they have to maintain a good relationship, and if that relationship is affected negatively, the producer has the ability to shut that pipelines in, to turn the valve and stop sending energy to the receiver. So pipelines affect global politics. What does it take to build a pipeline? For example, the Nord Stream pipeline, Russia and Europe, the European nations, banks, and oil companies put money together by the billions of dollars and to invest to build that pipeline. It took many years. However, once the pipeline is built, they get consistent flow of gas for many years to come. That's if it wasn't sabotaged. The operating costs and the maintenance costs are cheap for pipelines. The initial investment is expensive, but it's beneficial for both the receiving country and the producing country altogether. The main lesson is that pipelines aren't just infrastructure. They're political weapons. They create alliances. They create dependencies from one country to another, depending on who's receiving the energy and who's producing it. When they're sabotaged, they can crash entire economies. The Nord Stream pipeline is just one example, but we'll talk about the Nord Stream pipeline on another video by itself. So, in conclusion, pipelines equal power. Nations spend billions to build them because they guarantee decades of influence and control. But once that flow is cut, the real cost isn't just money, it's political survival. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, leave comments and questions below, and I'll see you on the next video.